Welcome in, everyone. It's the Express Bet and First Bet First Call podcast. Alongside Jeff Siegel, I'm Jeremy Plonk. We're going to handicap 8 stakes races this weekend. And Jeff, the Triple Crown Trail gets going in earnest. I penned Countdown to the Crown, about 3,600 words for today's initial reports out at countdowntothecrown.com. But in New York and California, we've got 3-year-old preps amongst our basket of goodies this weekend.
We do, and we'll be watching those 2 races at Jerome and the San Vicente. San Vicente's got a couple of Bafferts, as usual, that are very, very good. Jerome, there's some up-and-coming 3-year-olds maybe haven't quite established themselves in the upper echelon, but they'll get that chance in this one-turn mile race at the Big 8. So looking forward to that. Good racing at Gulfstream as well. Maybe some money to be made. So let's dig in and let's see what we can do.
We start 2024 with Fierceness and Nisos. To me, the 1-2 punch atop the 3-year-old crop. We'll see. That will definitely shake out. We didn't even know who Mage was this time of year. We had no idea who Justify was. And we know the later bloomers are part of the game now. So it's going to be a fun January and into February, of course. We've got 8 stakes races for you each and every week. For those of you listening on our audio channels, for your benefit, here's the list. At Aqueduct, we'll take a look at the Jerome Stakes as well as the ladies handicap. We'll go to Oaklawn for the Pippin Stakes and along the road potentially there towards the Apple Blossom. At Fairgrounds, it's the Menard Memorial. To Gulfstream Park for the Ginger Brew, the Limehouse, and the Dania Beach. Limehouse and Dania Beach in the 3-year-old division, but a sprint and a turf race. And at San Vicente, we've got, or at Santa Anita, we've got the San Vicente Stakes, our 8th and final. Big tournament weekend for you if you're playing the tournament game at Express Bet this weekend. $80 feeders at Gulfstream Park Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. Santa Anita's got $40 feeder tournaments Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. Win your way into the Pegasus World Cup Betting Championship. And also, it's the return, the 19th season of the Beat the Host contest. $60,000 in prizes throughout the course of the season. Beat the Host each week. We put up the host. You try to beat them with your total. $5 win bets on 10 races. This year, a little bit of a change. In the past, we let the host pick the races. This year, we're going to a format in Beat the Host where it's the last 5 races at Gulfstream and the first 5 at Santa Anita. That puts the players back in an advantage, gives you a chance to handicap in advance instead of waiting till Friday afternoon or Friday evening to see which races the host pick out. So each week in Beat the Host, we'll have 1,000 players plus each and every week. Last 5 races at Gulfstream. First 5 at Santa Anita. Get to work for tomorrow. Pete Aiello, the voice of Gulfstream Park, will be in the host chair for the very first time in Express Bet Beat the Host. You get a chance to take down announcer Pete on Twitter. Be sure to go heckle him and talk a little trash if you're doing well against Pete on Beat the Host. Jeff's a little later in the 8-week season. I'm a little bit down the line. We've got handicappers Brian Natto down in Florida. We've got Millie Ball out in Southern California. Frank Miramati will be a part of Beat the Host a little bit later this season. Eddie Olczyk towards the end of the season. And Tom Quigley. Nobody talks more Beat the Host trash than Tom Quigley. Tom will be up for you in a couple weeks as well in the contest. So very much looking forward to that. A lot of tournament play. Go to expressbet.com, check out the tournaments page, and get signed up for all of those. All right, Jeff, let's get handicapping here. To Aqueduct we go on Saturday. We're going to start things off in the Jerome. It's race number 3 on the card. $150,000 Jerome, $150,000 on the line. Kentucky Derby points, more importantly, on the line. 10 to the winner in this listed stakes. Just the field of 5 in here. That's why they moved it up into the card out of the pick 6 sequence. How do you see it shaking out?
Well, I think last week or week before I made mention about whenever I pick a Laurel horse that runs out of the area and ships to Florida or New York, they never run back to what I think they're capable of doing. Either their number drops or their performance level drops. So naturally, I'm going back to a Laurel horse here because I can't learn a new trick. I'm just stuck in my old ways, and so I'm going to stick with the Laurel shipper and Regalo number 5, a Maximus Mischief Colt. They brought 280 in the 2-year-old sale, first crop stallion. So that means he must have been very impressive, not only physically but in the preview session as well. And he's been very impressive in his races. Yes, I know, Laurel, but he's drawn outside and. At 5-1 in a small field from a high percentage outfit, going to get a great trip. Backing up from 2 turns, which I like because I know he's fit. Won his last 2. Numbers are rising with every start. I think he has a chance if he can produce another forward move. Now, drum roll, please, on the rail, even money. Pretty good third in the Remsen. I thought that was a solid race coming out of. Backing up again in trip, 1 and a mile over this track and distance back in early October. I don't know whether he's quite even money, but he's certainly the one to beat. But I want to go with Regalo. I thought he was impressive in his last race, Jeremy. Maybe I'm trying to see things that maybe weren't there, but you tell me. What do you think?
Yeah, I think he's got a shot in here because Mid-Atlantic horses have come up for the Jerome and done very well over the last 5, 6, 7 years. Remember, the Jerome used to be a race after, or really towards the end of like May. They moved it up into the calendar about a dozen years or so, and it's a January race now. And since it's become a Triple Crown prep race and a lead-in, it hasn't had a ton of impact down the line. But these Mid-Atlantic horses have had a lot of success at the beginning of the season here on the NYRA circuit. So I wouldn't be surprised at all if Regalo can get it done. I'm going to pivot to my other computer and let you see Regalo in action. We've got him right here from Laurel Park. See what he looked like down in Maryland.
Differences. They're still going at the top of the stretch, but they're well clear now from the Dingo 8-Yo Baby down inside in third into the stretch now. And Regalo begins to win that battle with Masacato as they come to the final furlong. Pandagate levels off late, takes third to the center of the track. Here's Regalo at a good-looking score. Regalo pulling away. Regalo's kicking in for the last 16th of a mile to win by 5. Masacato trains a hand in the second there. It's close.
So Regalo, that was a 2-turn race, has already gone around 2. We'll go back to 1 turn in the Jerome. Of course, Regalo won going 7/8 of a mile, a 1-turn race at Laurel in the start prior to that. Some interesting company lines in here. Can Ain't the 2 is coming out of a race against Parchment Party and Laganos, horses who I think are highly respected. Laganos has already come back and won out of that. Parchment Party for Bill Mott, to me, is a really sharp 3-year-old you want to watch this spring. And of course, as Jeff mentioned, drumroll please coming out of the Remsen Stakes, where it was Dornock and Sierra Leone running 1-2 in there. Both those horses now down in Florida looking to gear up towards the Triple Crown Trail. Next up at Aqueduct on the Saturday card, we're going to take a look at the Ladies Stakes. The Ladies Stakes, $150,000. Mile and an eighth, so 1 circuit around the 9-furlong oval at the Big A. We had 5 in the first stakes race. This one drew a field of 6. Jeff, tell us where you're looking at the ladies.
Well, I went with She's Mo Bubbly, and again, this is an angle that I like. You see that a horse has races both on dirt and turf, and then you look at the form and you say, isn't she better on dirt? So last time out, after a series of grass races that were below standard, in fact, she hit the board once in 4 grass races. She went back to the main track at Aqueduct back on December 16th, and I thought she beat a odds-on favorite that day and beat her on the square, and she earned a career top buyer number in 86. And now she's coming back relatively quick, but same track, same distance, good tactical speed, small field. Race should be not a particularly fast run early. He's going to get a really comfortable trip. And as a 5-year-old mare who's only had 9 starts, there's room for further improvement. She's a late developer for Pletcher, but I think She's Mo Bubbly at 5-2 has got a really good chance to run back to her last race. And if she does, she might be good enough to win.
Not a lot of speed in this race. You got Kendrick Carmouche and nobody better in New York on the front end. Let's take a look at She's Mo Bubbly, most recently in Allowance Company.
She's Mo Bubbly is ready to challenge. Copper Girl not going away without a fight down towards the inside. She's Mo Bubbly, Kendrick Carmouche, they've kicked for home. Copper Girl continues to battle on here at the rail as they approach that final furlong. She's Mo Bubbly is still in front. It's a very game Copper Girl coming back on the inside as they approach the 16th pole. She's Mo Bubbly trying to put her away. Coppa Girl comes right back here down at the line. She's Mo Bubbly holds her off. She's Mo Bubbly over Coppa Girl. Then came Sweetie and Freudian in 1 minute 50-3.
We're going to turn next to Oaklawn, where the Pippin Stakes will be another 150 grander, a mile and a 16th. Race number 9 on the card in Hot Springs. Another small field here we've got in Stakes Company this weekend. Just 5 in this particular spot. And Jeff, I know you're on the 3 in here. Butterbean. Now, people are going to think Butterbean, the boxers, who's the horse is named after. But as we found out back when this was a 3-year-old filly, she's named after like a pixie in the cartoon somewhere. So it's Kenny McPeak's daughter named her Butterbean. Not named for the big heavyweight boxer, but she's got a heavyweight closing kick when she runs her race.
She looks like a solid play here. First or second, 10 out of 16. Now, she just won a race called the Mistletoe, and 4 of the 5 entrants in this race were in that race. So she doesn't really have to improve. All she has to do is run 2 in a row or 2 alike, which, by the way, she's done in the past. In fact, she had a 3-race winning streak back in 2022. So it's not like a lot of horses where they run very hard and they win and they pay the price in their next start.
Right.
She's shown the ability to put good ones back to back. I thought her last race was really kind of good. She took the Overland route. She had a bad outside draw, 10 of 10 at Oaklawn, and still was able to rally wide and get up in time. And in doing so, earned the career top buyer number. So again, at age 5, looks like she's never been better. Now she gets a much better draw. Yep. And while she doesn't have a lot of tactical speed, she shouldn't be that far back either. So after watching the last race, and you can look at it, I don't even see reason why I would change my pick. I mean, she picks up 1 pound. I don't think that's going to stop her. Other than that, why can't she run 2 in a row?
Price will probably swap this time. She was the longest price of these 5 that were in the mistletoe last time. The public didn't get that right, but she'll be shorter this time around. Let's take a look at her win from the 10-hole last out.
She's Mo Bubbly.
These two are locking horns as they approach the top of the lane. Ricardo Santana Jr. getting to work on Ice Orchid, but she is responding under some pressure here. Ice Orchid let loose on the outside as they wheel for the judges. Ice Orchid, Butterbean on the outside is coming strong, and Misty Vale finds a seam up the rail. These 3 driving. Misty Vale inside. Ice Orchid not going to get it, and here's Butterbean. Butterbean got there under Juliet Leperoux.
One of my handicapping theories, whether it's this race or any similar, when you have a lot of horses coming back out of the same race, one, you want to go back and watch the race replay, see if you can unearth something different than what the results showed. And either you trust that result or you take a fresh face. I think you trust the result in that particular one. I think it's Butterbean. She comes right back and wins again. And there's only one fresh face to choose from in this short field that we have for the Pippin Stakes. Next up, we're going to move to Fairgrounds, where it's the Nelson Menard Memorial Stakes is the feature on the card on Saturday at the Fairgrounds. 5.5 furlong turf sprint. We had some shorter fields to deal with in other races. We've got 9 turf sprinters in this one. Purse for the Menard Memorial, $100,000. Jeff, where do you want to turn to here at the Fairgrounds?
Well, I'm going to pick the mare. She's a mare now. She was a filly last year when she won this very same race. Her name is, okay, I'm going to see if I can get this right. Ouvra. I don't know. I think
that's right.
That's what the announcer called it. So I went back and I'm going to copy what that was what she's been called. Now she's run 23 times. How about this, Jeremy? 23 starts, 14 wins.
Mm-hmm.
Pretty admirable. Only 3 seconds and 3/3. So if she can beat you, she'll probably beat you. Now, last time out, I thought in the Chaluki, which was a dirt race, and I don't think she's capable on any surface, but I actually thought she ran pretty well that day. She was down on the inside, took a lot of dirt, loomed a threat. For some reason, I don't know what happened. She kind of drifted out and blew second money at the last 50 yards. I don't know if something went wrong or she spooked or something, but blew second money. But she was really second best in that race. But if you look at her, very consistent and good, solid grass form. I mean, this is probably, what she wants to do. And as I say, she won the race last year, so why can't you do it again? In her form, excellent recent form. So at 7-2 for Chris Block, I'm going to go with Ouvra on top.
What about Brandon's My Lawyer? This is the horse from Southern California. Any insight you have on that performer coming from your backyard to the east for trainer Peter Urton? This is a horse he claimed a couple starts back. He's been through a few different barns. Of course, Baltus, when he went on suspension, Papa Padramu picked up a lot of his horses, but was, 2 starts back claimed from Papa Padramu into the Urton barn. What do you make of Brandon's My Lawyer coming off a down the hill race?
I'm trying to evaluate her form in California, and I think I have a fairly good handle as to what I think she's capable of doing.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't think she's as good as the mare that I picked.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I would have picked Brandon's My Lawyer, provincialist as I am, for California horses, if I thought she was good enough to win. And maybe, second start off the claim for Peter Miller. She was on the lead last time. And got run over. Those were pretty solid horses, but no better than what she's facing here. So unless she steps forward, and hey, she's only run 9 times, who's to say that she won't? But unless she does, I don't think she's quite up to winning. That's my stance. I think 6-1 is a square price. I mean, it's not like you're taking a short price here. So you could gamble a little bit that she will improve, and she's inside speed. She's going to hook some other speed though, but I wouldn't completely dismiss her.
I like to ask you that because there's an old axiom I like to apply: handicap the handicapper,
Mhm.
and I would expect to use the word provincial and how, you might be biased towards a horse on your circuit or have a strong feeling for a particular horse on your circuit. I love when somebody Southern California based like you has an opinion outside the region like that goes against what you might think a homer would do, right? And
Yeah.
so that feels more honest and genuine in the assessment. Kurt Hoover taught me that years ago, working with Kurt on some TV stuff, and always been a good pal of his. But he'd always say that, when there's like a Pletcher horse comes to the West Coast, and I actually like them over the Southern Californians, that tells you I really don't like the Southern Californians in this race, because my heart's going to tell me, or my knowledge base is going to tell me, I know the Californians better. And so when you kind of go outside your region or outside your box, I think it's a good time for listeners of this podcast for their ears to perk up. If I don't like a horse who ran at the Keeneland meet, something I follow really closely, that would make a lot more impact to the listener, I think. In the same way, you're taking a horse from California to Fairgrounds and you're not following him this particular spot. Again, no disrespect to the horse, and you say he's got a shot to run, but there's another one you like better. And I think that's a good case for people to listen in. So handicap the handicapper is always something you want to do out there as a player and a listener to shows like this. Let's move our attention from Fairgrounds now to Gulfstream on Saturday. Gulfstream Park, again, is going to be part of our Beat the Host contest this weekend. 5 races at Gulfstream, the final 5 on the card. Will join the first 5 races at Santa Anita in the Express Bet Beat the Host contest. Be sure to sign up for that and get playing this weekend to take on Pete Aiello head-to-head. At Gulfstream Park, the Ginger Brew, the Limehouse, and the Dania Beach all will be part of the Beat the Host contest. So let's go to the Ginger Brew, first of our 3 stakes races in South Florida on Saturday. Jeff, Ginger Brew, named for the Bobby Frankel filly. This one is a mile on the turf. Ginger Brew did her best running on the main track, but we'll let that pass and stop. We go to the turf milers here. Who do you like in the Ginger Brew?
Okay, well, again, a very competitive race. You've got 3-year-old fillies at various stages of maturity and development and improvement. So what you see on the form isn't always duplicated. And I'm kind of using that angle to come up with Waskasoo as my top selection, fresh from a maiden win. Obviously going from maiden to stakes, and some fillies who have run well in stakes. This is a step up in class, no question about it. But if you look at this daughter of American Pharoah, she had a couple of runs on dirt sprinting, and now she stretched out onto the grass and she improved massively. She was favored in the race, but her numbers went from 45 to 63 to 79 in her first 2-turn race, in her first race on grass. The American Pharoah fillies love turf. She's got great tactical speed. But what I liked about her last race was after running 21-4, 44-3 sprinting at Saratoga, when they stretched her out in November at Aqueduct, she sat second, but she did it so relaxed, so happy to be there, didn't pull, just kind of was content to be with her. Sometimes you get these stretch out plays and they pull a little bit. Not her. She's ran that race like she'd been doing it all her life. Now, I'm expecting her to improve again. She doesn't need to lead the win, but she's quick enough from the gate to get into a very favorable spot. She'll probably be a stalking position. And again, if she steps forward in what will be just her 4th career start, I think Waskasoo has a chance to produce another forward move and make 8-1 look like a very, very good gamble.
There are 3 runners in this race coming out of the Breeders' Cup Juvenile Fillies turf. That's the good news. The bad news is none of them were competitive. They all ran 8th or worse in that particular spot. So this race does feel like it opens up to a horse on the class rise. Waskasoo, Jeff's top choice in here. Let's go back and take a look at her last win on the Naira circuit.
Left to go, 1:12 4 for 3/4 of a mile. Before you go gets the cue. Waskasoo is in pursuit, and these front 2 now sprint away. Waskasoo has taken the lead, is now up by a neck, now a full length, and Waskasoo is just opening up here for Junior Alvarado. It's Waskasoo who's up by a quick 2. Before you go is a clear second. Far back to the rest. It's going to be Waskasoo to win this one impressively. Waskasoo wins it. Call it 5. Before you go. They're finishing second. Look like past tense to the inside there of Dancing Dean. Final running time, 1:42.35 seconds.
The Waskasoo, Jeff's top pick in here. I want to mention Ozara, the probable favorite in this race. Won the Wait a While Stakes at 4-5 last time. Got a fast pace that day, 46 or change, won 10-1, and just got there. Just didn't seem to be a horse who won like a 4-5 shot should. So I think this is a horse that's probably going to be underlaid on the tope. You got a big field in here. You're going to have to get a trip worked out if you're Ozara for Christophe Clement. So I think that's a vulnerable favorite in there. Should have won a little bit easier last time. I'll take a stand against as well. And Jeff's got Waskasu on the step up in class, ready to roll again. To the Limehouse Stakes we go. Next up on the card at Gulfstream, it'll be race number 10 on the card. $100,000, 6 furlong sprint here. These are the 3-year-olds. Do we expect these horses to be nominated the Triple Crown in a couple of weeks and that's announced? Probably not. This looks more like a sprint field. You do have Cuban Thunder turning back in distance in here. Might be a horse who would go long. Steeler Mischief has gone long in the past, but this looks like a group of sprinters in here for all intents and purposes. How do you see the Limehouse Stakes shaking out?
Well, nobody in this race ran a race equivalent to what Valiant Force did in the Breeders' Cup Juvenile Turf Sprint.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, he got beat a half length. Big Evs, we know about him because he came from Europe and he was all the goods, all the rage, and won it. But in another 20 yards or so, it was going to be very, very close. And the thing about Valiant Force is, even though he's a Euro, he's an American-bred colt by Malibu Moon out of by Quality Road. You can't get more dirt than that. You know?
Right.
So I don't know. We're going to find out whether he can handle the dirt, which I think is what his connections are probably going to want to see too. It could open up certain things in his winter-spring campaign if he shows he can handle it. And he's going to take dirt in his face because he's not a quick type, but he can really turn it on, just missing at 5. Now, if he can take that dirt and secure some room somewhere along the way, Valiant Force will have every opportunity to show that his Breeders' Cup Juvenile Turf effort was legit. He was a big price that day at 23-1, even though he was a group winner at Royal Ascot. So, I mean, he had credentials, and he certainly has credentials to win this one. So
on the rail, Slider is after that. They're into the stretch, and it is Crimson Advocate on the inside, and Big Abs right up alongside. Nose to nose, Big Abs takes the lead. Big Abs has taken charge. Crimson Advocate back into second. Late run from Starlust, and on the far outside, Valiant Force. Here's the wire. Big Abs. He did it today. And that was Valiant Force in second, followed by Starlust and No Name X.
So Valiant Force from the turf to the dirt. Trainer change now with Jorge Delgado based in Florida. Delgado also picked up for these same connections Cuban Thunder after running in the Breeders' Cup Juvenile. That horse has already had a start at Gulfstream Park and ran a decent allowance second on the Tapitas. So connections have given some horses to Delgado over the winter to see what they have at 3 here at Gulfstream. Valiant Force, Jeff's top pick in the Limehouse Stakes. And sorry there, partner, I got quick on the trigger figure rolling that video in where you were completing your thought.
no problem.
Let's go to the Dania Beach Stakes. That'll be race number 11 on the card Saturday at Gulfstream. It's our Express Bet race of the week. I've got a full analysis of this one written up at expressbet.com. And if you sign up for the email newsletter with First Bet and Express Bet, you'll get that race of the week sent to your email inbox each and every week. These are Turf Miler 3-year-olds in here. Pretty good group. You've got some horses coming out of the Pulpit Stakes, including the runner-up in there, Reminder. You've got some horses coming out of the Breeders' Cup Juvenile Turf, including Air Recruit. You've got Agate Road, who was one of the favorites in that race. They're one of the main contenders among the American horses, 10-1 at post time, but winner of the Pilgrim Stakes. This is a pretty good bunch in here, Jeff. Field of 10, one of the better betting races we have throughout the course of the weekend when it comes to the stakes. Good field size.
I had a real hard time with this because I didn't really like anything, you know. I mean, I figured in a grass race for 2-year-olds, I'd find something to latch onto. I wasn't that crazy about Agate Road's effort in the Breeders' Cup Juvenile Turf.
No.
I looked at Air Recruit. He had the rail that day. He made the lead. He had every chance, got run over. I didn't think that race, the line made him look, I think the line made him look better than he is what I'm trying to say. A few of the others in here just didn't do a whole lot for me. So I went back and I watched the race at Keeneland, the Bourbon, and I didn't think Depiction ran all that badly, actually. I thought he got waiting for room. He kind of picked it up late. He actually galloped out right with the leaders. Slow pace didn't do him any good. More Than Ready Colts only had 3 starts. He's had some time off. He's had some time to grow up a little bit for a good trainer, and looks like he's training well. Has a bullet work at Palm Meadows back in mid-December. I like the 3-hole draw. He's going to draft into a good spot. He's 8-1. I certainly like that. So, you can make a case for a lot of these, and I would be all ears, But I latched on to Depiction just because he looks like and his numbers have gotten better with every start also. So there's a progression there that I like. So at the price, connections and all, I'm going to go with Depiction to try to pull off a surprise in the Dania Beach.
If you want another price horse in here, keep an eye on Reminder as well. This horse was second in the Pulpit Stakes at 26-1. Those kind don't get bet back usually the next time. The public takes a little while to kind of get into horses that are that kind of price. But if you watch on video, this horse really got over the grass well, was bounding, skipping. I mean, that kind of stride over the turf that you love to see was the first time on the grass for Reminder and really finished up well after a bad trip in there. So I give Reminder a shot in here. Now, I know the pace was fabulous that day, 45-4, 9 and change. So it's set up for somebody to finish. So it was pace aided, no question, but I like the visuals. So give Reminder a shot in there at a bit of a price. Air Recruit towards the front of the race, probably the horse to catch in there after making the lead in the Breeders' Cup Juvenile. We'll see. Last year, Candidate won this race for Arnaud Delacour. He comes back with Air Recruit trying to win it 2 seasons in a row. Let's go next to our 8th and final handicapping chore of the weekend. It's at Santa Anita, the San Vicente Stakes featured on Saturday. Grade 2, 7 furlongs, $200,000. The San Vicente over the years, Jeff, has been a February race where the Sham Stakes at a mile kicked off the Santa Anita Derby Series. And then the San Vicente was kind of on an island for horses that were kind of moving up from the maiden ranks or coming off a long layoff. No Kentucky Derby points because it's only 7/8 of a mile. Sprints don't get Derby points. Kind of lost its way maybe a little bit. Because back in like 2016, we were talking Nyquist and Exaggerator running 1-2 in the San Vicente, in a race that's had some great winners over the years, Silver Charm et al. Now it's the kickoff to the Santa Anita Derby Series. The Sham is no more. So maybe we get, a little bit of a rekindle and a resparkle for this race, because you do have the Breeders' Cup Juvenile runner-up in here, Muth, which is an interesting entrant to cut back now to 7/8 of a mile. He's one of 2 for Bob Baffert in this race. Baffert's won this race, I believe, 8 or 9 times. That's not a surprise. Muth and Pilot Commander, the 2 for Baffert in here in a field of 6.
Well, we're going to show you a work in a minute of these 2 colts, because we're going to discuss Muth and Pilot Commander. Then we're going to watch them go head to head, kind of like a boxing match. They're doing in they're sparring in the Main Street gym prior to the actual fight. And so Muth and Pilot Commander know each other well. And here is that workout, and you see Pilot Commander on the outside and Muth on the inside. And what I came to the conclusion was that Pilot Commander was actually going the easier of the 2. Muth has credentials. He has the resume. There's no question about that. Pilot Commander won smartly in his debut, so much so that we made a future star on our Tuesday podcast.
Yep.
You see, this is a colt by Justify with a nice long loping side. He's under a hammerlock here in the last 50 yards. They're going to finish noses apart at the wire, but it certainly seemed to me that Pilot Commander could have gone by if he was permitted to do so. And after winning 6 furlong sprint, Jeremy, a race in which he was on the lead, but came the last quarter in 24 flat. Now he's going 7/8. He's going to grow up a little bit since that race back in mid-November, and the works are good, obviously. He's 5-2, and Muth is 4-5. He's outside of Muth. I mean, I tell you what, I think Pilot Commander, as we talked about when we featured him in our podcast several weeks ago, he's a good colt. He could be the goods, and I'm very interested to see how he matches up with Muth, who may not be the best in his division, but it almost takes the best in his division to beat him.
Right. He's been rock solid. Muth, a $2 million son of Good Magic. Of course, Good Magic had such a great year last year with the 3-year-olds, topped by Mage, winning the Kentucky Derby. Muth, the question here is the cutback and trip right after 2 straight routes, but his best success, maybe, I don't know, right off the bat, winning 5 furlongs. Is he a better 1 or 2 turn type of horse? The pedigree says he'll go 2 turns. His running lines, obviously, winning the American Pharoah shows he'll go 2 turns, but is Muth a 1.25 mile horse will be the question as we talk about a $2 million purchase, right? I mean, you're not trying to win 1/16 races with a $2 million horse. You're trying to win the Kentucky Derby with him. We'll find out if he's a Derby horse down the line. What do you make of the cutback here to 7/8?
I don't think about him. I think he's just as good sprinting or routing. In fact, his speed figures would indicate he's almost identical. So that's the notion there. he won the American Pharoah easily. He drew away well. The colt that he beat, though, came back and ran poorly. I don't know if he beat a whole lot that day, which is why he's 2-5.
Mm-hmm.
I'm probably gambling more on upside than anything else, but here's one of the reasons why I like Pilot Commander. You look at the speed figures that Muth has earned so far, 90, 93, 91, 95, and then you compare that with Pilot Commander's 75 buyer number when he won his debut, and people are going to look at that and they're going to say, I don't know if I want to bet a horse that has to improve 20 points on his speed figure and the form to beat the one that is faster. So I don't think Pilot Commander is going to be less than 5-2, maybe even a little bit higher. Mm-hmm. And yet, if you looked at that workout that we just showed, you'd have to think that Pilot Commander is going in the right direction and that he might be a lot faster than that sole figure would give him credit for. So it wouldn't really surprise me one way or the other. Another thing that'll tilt the scales in terms of the odds is that Juan Hernandez rode Pilot Commander in his debut and rides Muth, which may indicate, I'm sure it does at this stage, that he prefers Pilot Commander for this particular race. I don't know if Bob makes that choice or whether he asks Juan what do you want to do. Not that Flavien Prat is worried about taking sloppy seconds here. He'll take this any day of the week. So it's really an interesting race, and it's a 7-furlong race. And 7-furlong races usually bring 3-year-olds out. It's not a sprint. Mm-hmm. You have to be a good colt with some stamina, but with a turn of foot as well to win going 7/8. And if you're a good 7/8 horse, doesn't make you a Derby horse, but it certainly means that you should be able to get at least a middle distance. And there's not a doubt in my mind Pilot Commander will do just that.
The Bob Lewis will be the first chance to go 2 turns for the stakes horses on the Santa Anita Derby Trail, then the San Felipe, and then, of course, the Santa Anita Derby coming up in early April. So that's a look at our 8 stakes races this week on the First Call podcast. Want to remind you that we've got a great promotion. If you like to play that all-turf pick 3 at Santa Anita, I know one of Jeff's favorite wagers, low takeout, $3 minimum. Bet $100 on any of the Santa Anita turf pick 3 races. Bet $100 on that sequence, get $20 back, a $20 rebate on a $100 wager in the Santa Anita Turf Pick 3 when you play with First Bet or Express Bet. Make sure you opt into the promos and take advantage of that. And late pick 4 players at Laurel Park each day here of the Heritage Meet that they've got kicking off this weekend at Laurel Park. Late pick 4's got a $2,000 hit and split, so hit your pari-mutuel winnings and add an extra $2,000, your share of it, just with other players on the platforms at ExpressBet and FirstBet that hit the late pick 4 at Laurel each and every race day at Laurel Park for the meet. So be sure to take advantage of those promos. One last time to tell you, take on Pete Aiello in the Beat the Host competition. The first of 8 weeks of Beat the Host takes place this Saturday. Races will be the final 5 races at Gulfstream, the first 5 races at Santa Anita. $2,000 in weekly prizes. There are seasonal prizes. There are a Beat the Host final. If you beat the host, if you have a better win total, these are 10 $5 win bets. So your $50 will go directly into the pari-mutuel pool. $2,000 will be paid back to the top players each and every week. If you beat the host just 1 week, you qualify for the final tournament on the Beat the Host Championship round, which comes up the second week of March. So just beat the host 1 time and you get all the way to the finals. Good luck taking down Pete Aiello, the voice of Gulfstream Park. We're going to make him a handicapper this weekend. He told me that it's a big deal in his inner circle. He was texting me a little bit earlier today. So he's taking some razz from his friends. I've played leadoff in this spot before. I think about 6 or 7 years, actually, hitting leadoff. I'm glad because I get to make the schedule to get myself out of the leadoff spot. You never want to go first in this tournament. I've had years where I ducked the first week and went 0 for 10. And let like 1,200 players through to the championship round. So we don't want that to happen. We want Pete to throw some winners out there and make it a challenge for you. Pete's picks will be revealed when the races start in the tournament section at expressbet.com. So you can't check out his picks ahead of time and try to zig when he zags. You'll find out when the race starts what Pete had. You got to do the handicapping on your own. But we gave the advantage back to the players this season as the races are predetermined. Last 5 each week at Gulfstream, first 5 at Santa Anita. So, Jeff, should be a lot of fun this weekend. Really looking forward to it.
Yeah, we certainly will. Out here in California, I'll have daymakers tomorrow. Decided I wasn't going to post daymakers on days that I really didn't like anything. I didn't want the card to play me. I'll play the card. Well, I've done a lot of the work for Saturday at Santa Anita, and I'm going to be diving in. So we'll have that video posted on my Twitter, and then during within the analysis, the full card analysis that I'll be posting for Express Bet. Look forward to that tomorrow.
And I'd be remiss if I didn't mention the return of the Coast to Coast Pick 5. 5 races from Gulfstream and Santa Anita, that national $1 wager. Check that out. Coast to Coast Pick 5 every Saturday and Sunday. We'll have all the details for you on the website in the blog section with some picks as well for Saturday and Sunday's Coast to Coast Pick 5. Presented by First. For everybody at First Technologies and my partner Jeff Siegel, I'm Jeremy Plonk. Have a great weekend. Good luck, and we will talk to you on Tuesday when we wrap up the weekend on It's Official. Good luck, everybody.